Tonight's WDNA broadcast of the Community Arts Program. I'm Community Arts Program Executive Director Mark Hart with a group of wonderful musicians in an hour that debuts new compositions and brings, in some cases, a new look on standards. The dance-style sound of sweet band music paved the way for popular swing bands like the Glenn Miller Orchestra and Benny Goodman Orchestras. We just heard members of the CAP All-Star Jazz Ensemble with their arrangement of Benny Goodman's 7 Come 11. CAP All-Star Ensemble members joining in tonight's broadcast are sax and clarinet player Zach Sue, drummer Victor Heraldez, and CAP mentor bassist Marty Quinn, and CAP All-Star Ensemble teaching artist Dan Strange at the keyboard. Dan, I'm so thrilled with the arranging and composing skills gained by the Community Arts Program students. Tell us about the value in that and this next piece, Pat Metheny's Better Days Ahead.
Sure. Well, it's a thrill to be here every fall and spring now for the last umpteen years that we've been doing
12
this.
At least.
12 of these. Yeah, it seems like we just started. The value cannot be overstated. When you find your voice, particularly your compositional voice, after years of studying your instrument, learning the theory, understanding how everything works, the goal then is to make the art and to put it together. But it can't just also be from page and teachings out of books. It has to be from records, from the source of the playing, imitation, improvisation. So I think by having the students really center around composition and arranging, they're actually pushing their skill set in the other technical areas at the same time. Maybe more so because they're forced to develop things from an ear perspective as well as, their own heart, if you will. The results, as you can tell, is a really tight group of students, and they're eager to explore this possibility.
Yeah, and at such an early age. That's incredible. So this next piece, Pat Metheny's Better Days Ahead.
Oh, man, I remember the first time I heard these records from the 80s with Metheny and Lyle Mays, Still Life Talking being one of the famous Better Days Ahead, of course, off of Letters from Home, and hearing this sound, sort of this fusion. Is it pop? Is it jazz? Is it electronic? I think this is one of the great things about Pat Metheny is he's been able to thread that area and bring in listeners from both sides of the aisle, which is really great, and we just love this piece.
Okay, terrific. Pat Metheny from his 6th studio album, Letter from Home. Here is the CAP All-Star Jazz Ensemble with Pat Metheny's piece titled Better Days Ahead. Pat Metheny's Letter from Home. I'm sorry, from his album, Letter from Home, that's his Better Days Ahead. The Community Arts Program All-Star Jazz Ensemble. Saxophonist and clarinetist Zachary Sue composed as part of the Community Arts Program curriculum this next piece. It's titled Default Salt, or Default Salt. And, I'll leave that one up to you, Zach. But Zach, what inspired this piece and its title?
Well, this piece was, of course, as part of the community arts program, we have, we must arrange, or not must, but we're heavily, inspired by our mentors to arrange pieces. And this one, there's a famous jazz standard known as Sugar, and I originally tried to derive some inspiration from it, but it took a very different course when I was creating it. So, the opposite, or the hand in hand with salt comes sugar, so I named it Salt. And as you think of, or how should I say this? When you first open up whatever music writing software, it has a default name. So, of course, Default Salt.
Oh, okay. Now we know. Here's a composition by CAP Community Arts Program student Zachary Sue with the CAP All-Star Jazz Ensemble. His original composition, Default Salt. All right, Default Salt by Community Arts Program student Zachary Sue and our clarinetist in the All-Star Jazz Ensemble. Playing that with the All-Star Jazz Ensemble led by cap teaching artist Daniel Strange. So we're going to move right along here. We have lots of terrific listening for you tonight on this Community Arts Program WDNA broadcast. Here's a piece titled Elm by American jazz pianist and composer Richard Byrach. Again, the Community Arts Program All-Star Jazz Ensemble. Elm by American jazz pianist and composer Richard Byrach. The Community Arts Program All-Star Jazz Ensemble led by CAP teaching artist Dan Strange. It's exciting for us tonight to bring to you the work of another Community Arts Program ensemble, Creative Strings. It's a group that brings string players together to explore all types of music and to learn skills that each style brings. I have with me CAP Creative Strings teaching artist and violinist Stefan Zeichner. Stefan, tell us a bit about what we'll hear in this next piece, La Vie en Rose.
Of course. So with Creative Strings 3, we particularly try to focus on a lot of the skills necessary to play groove-based music, including focus on rhythm, as well as understanding of harmony. And in this piece, La Vie en Rose, we kind of broke down the harmony together, and as well as making somewhat of a chord melody arrangement of the melody. Sophia will also be improvising a comping part in the middle, where she is navigating through chord changes, which is a skill that I think all string players, even classically based ones, should develop, because it is very much something in today's world that you need to understand.
And that's the great thing in this, is that giving students the skills that they otherwise perhaps wouldn't have in their day-to-day routine or day-to-day lessons or whatnot. So bringing that all together is great. Thanks, Stefan. Here is La Vie en Rose with violinist Stefan Zeichner. He's also the director of the CAP Creative Strings Group, student violinist Sofia Blanco, and the CAP All-Star Jazz Ensemble in this piece, La Vie en Rose. That's what I'm talking about. The signature song of popular French singer Edith Piaf, written in 1945, a piece, La Vie en Rose, covered by so many jazz singers as well, as we all know. Cap Creative Strings and Cap All-Star Jazz Ensemble in that arrangement by Claire Fisher. This is a WDNA Community Arts Program broadcast at 88.9 FM WDNA Sirius Jazz Miami and online at WDNA.org. Thanks to all of our friends looking and viewing online. Thank you to our wonderful friends at WDNA, General Manager Maggie Payaya, Director of Sales and Marketing Howard Duperly, and WDNA Sound Engineer Alex Aldrich. If you're a student out there listening, we'd love to have you join the Community Arts Program. Visit communityartsprogram.org for more information. Now, here are two original compositions by Community Arts Program student and drummer Victor Heraldez. The two pieces are titled Sun Showers and Colors. So, Victor, the question I asked Zach as well, what inspired the writing of these two pieces?
So first, I'll talk about sun showers. So that in itself, the title, sun showers is like this phenomenon that I can't explain, but I know that when it rains and the sun's out, it's a kind of a cool thing. So when I was writing this, I felt sort of a mix of emotions of this sense of overwhelming brightness and maybe a sense of happiness. If it can evoke whatever you want whenever you listen to it. But then there's this sort of sulking mood or sort of like something dark hanging over it mixed in. And so it's these two things that come together that maybe shouldn't necessarily be, but it's what happens. It's a natural thing. And the way that it was created was through an idea that we learned in our CAP harmony class on Saturdays. So where we write some of our original music, it's a pedal idea. So throughout the entire A section, it's just through every chord, the root of it is G. So it shifts, and then sort of the storm with the sunshine comes out in the B section. And then the other piece, colors. I think when people first think of colors, they will think of maybe of a rainbow, of something that's very that signals maybe freedom, or something that's that again evokes very bright ideals. But for me, colors is more of just experimenting with literally any color. So it's whatever I guess you can imagine with the piece as you think of it. It can be dark. There's moments where there's maybe some uplifting ideas or moments that you can construe it as whatever you want. But I think that's, for both of these, for the titles, it's just supposed to evoke whatever emotion it's supposed to evoke out of the listener.
Okay, so lots to listen to in those two pieces. So here are pieces by CAP student Victor Heraldez, a piece called Sun Showers, followed by Colors with the Community Arts Program All-Star Jazz Ensemble. All right. Two pieces by a community arts program student and drummer with the community arts program All-Star Jazz Ensemble. Victor Heraldez, his original compositions Sun Showers, and the last one we heard Colors, performed by the CAP All-Star Jazz Ensemble, led by teaching artist Dan Strange with CAP mentor, bassist Marty Quinn. Wow, that was terrific. Thanks, guys. To those listening, we're glad you've joined us for this evening's WDNA Community Arts Program broadcast at 88.9 FM WDNA and WDNA.org. For the final two pieces on tonight's program, we're going to return to some Pat Metheny and his song, Bilbao. Here again is the Community Arts Program All-Star Jazz Ensemble, led by CAP teaching artist Dan Strange. And then after that, we'll hear Astor Piazzolla's Libertango. All right, Pat Metheny's Song for Bilbao, dedicated to audiences in Bilbao, Spain, and also a very popular encore piece of Pat Metheny's. We're going to conclude our WDNA Community Arts Program broadcast tonight, bringing the CAP Creative Strings back on stage with CAP teaching artist, violinist Stefan Zeichner, and CAP violinist student Sofia Blanco, with the CAP All-Star Jazz Ensemble, Dan Strange, teaching artist, keyboardist, Marty Quinn, bass, Zach Su, clarinet, and Victor Geraldes, drums. Here is Astor Piazzolla's Libertango. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Community Arts Program, CAP Creative Strings, along with the CAP All-Star Jazz Ensemble, CAP Creative Strings teaching artist and violinist Stefan Zeichner, along with CAP violinist student Sofia Blanco. We've got Dan Strange, CAP teaching artist of the All-Star Jazz Ensemble and keyboard player. We've got Zach Su, clarinetist and saxophone player tonight. Victor Heraldez on the drums, and our CAP mentor, Marty Quinn. Thanks for joining us tonight, Marty. We've got about a minute 30 left. So I say let's start Liber Tango again and take us out on a reprise. Oh, we got something else. And what have we got?
They've got some ending credits.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you guys are going to recognize this. Should I tell them what it is? You guys will recognize it. This WDNA CAP broadcast was recorded in front of a semi-live studio audience. Thanks for joining us tonight.